Hello guys and dolls. How are we doing today? I hope everyone is having a fabulous day. This is going to be a story time. As you know, my story times are they can be very heavy. So just a forewarning, before we start, like, comment, subscribe. If you are coming back time and time again to listen to my story times, thank you so much. I appreciate every one of you for coming back and spending a few minutes of your day with me. I really do appreciate it, and you have to know that without you guys, I couldn't have a channel. So thank you if I don't say it enough. Thank you again. Please tell me what you're liking and what you're not liking. Leave a comment below, interact with me. I would love for anybody watching or anybody who doesn't know who I am to become a part of the self-love. And so let us begin. Without further ado, oh yeah, don't forget to ring the bell because it's free. Okay, so now let's get right into this. What is my story about today? The moon is not real, y'all. That's right. You heard it. The moon is not real. I'm not the only one saying it. Scientists have said it. Research has said it. And if you are a historian or you like history and you go back into ancient times and you can read between the lines and you kind of listen to what they're saying in the times before Christ, before that huge, if you're Christian, you know the Noah's Ark story. This is way before that. Something happened that they are not telling us in that period of the time of the great cataclysmic inundation of water that the earth went through in the Noah's Ark story. So I'm going out to left field. Let me bring myself back and begin why I think and what I found that points towards the fact. I'm sorry, I'm gonna say it's a fact. I know that a lot of you probably will watch this and be like, I think I'm gonna go now. But I hope you give it a moment. I hope you give it a chance. I hope you give me a chance to tell you why I think the moon is not real and why I'm saying it's fact. All right, so the moon is the closest broadcast point for Saturn. Saturn is a whole different other story. No one will tell you this, but again, if you're a historian, if you're looking through history, Saturn was in our orbit. Did you know that? Because I sure as hell didn't. So when Saturn was in our orbit, if you bother to look back into history and what they depicted and the things that they drew, that a lot of times you'll see this picture, and that sometimes signifies the evil eye. That's how the evil eye is depicted in many, many, many stories and pictures. And that's basically when Saturn was in our orbit. That's what we used to look up and see. I'm not sure if it's Neptune or Pluto that's in front of Saturn, but yeah, Saturn was in our orbit and the moon wasn't there. Okay, so, and also, just in case you didn't know, the frequency of Saturn is 666. Lovely, isn't it? Yeah, okay. Many functions related to human control are based within the moon, but it's mainly there to amplify Saturn transmissions and to act as a firewall by artificially suppressing the human frequency to make it harder to connect with infinite awareness beyond this simulation. Beyond the shadow of a doubt, there is new technology in the earth helping the moon and Saturn do their thing. I would have to create a new video or another video on Saturn. So if anybody wants to know more about Saturn, sound off below. Science cannot and will not admit that they cannot explain the existence of the moon. First, it was that the Earth was hit by a Mars-type planet during its formation, and debris was projected into space that formed the moon. This did not pan out, so another story was formulated. Another Mars-type planet, because, you know, why not? They named it after a candy. Struck the Earth and then came back and smacked it again. These are officially known as the whack and double whack theories. Yes, perfect name because they are very whack. Now, they don't know because the moon shouldn't be there. For ancient texts and accounts, when Saturn was in our orbit before the Great Flood, it was not there. The moon was not there. Okay, honestly, a small planet like Earth should not have a satellite anything like the size of the moon. It's 2,160 miles across, bigger than Pluto, and the fifth largest planet in the solar system, even with all the giant planet stars such as Saturn and Jupiter. So the freaking moon is huge. The moon is also hollow, my friends. Now, no one's saying that the moon is fake in the sense that it's fake, it's plastic, it's a scrunchie. It's, what do you call this? It's a beauty blender. No one's saying that. What they're saying is that beings, the beings that help control this planet, the beings that we cannot see, smarter, far more advanced, technologically, obviously, grabbed this planet from who knows where, hollowed it out, put in whatever the hell it is that's, putting out that frequency to us, and dumped everything that was inside on the top of the planet. Okay, so every time NASA has struck the moon with a powerful projectile, the response from seismometers located on the surface has strongly suggested that it is hollow. One impact equivalent to 1 ton of TNT caused the moon to ring like a frickin' bell. For 30 minutes straight, another controlled strike equivalent to 11 tons of TNT caused the moon to react like a song. You didn't know the moon sang? Well, apparently it does when it's struck by hordes of TNT. According to NASA scientists, please notice that I'm saying NASA scientists, they recorded the vibrations lasting 3 hours and 20 minutes to a depth of 25 miles. Ken Johnson, a supervisor of the Data and Photo Control Department during the Apollo missions, said the whole moon wobbled in such a precise way it was almost as though it had a gigantic hydraulic damper struts inside of it. And I know exactly what he's talking about, because obviously, it's in space and it's kind of hanging there. So instead of, a piece coming out or it just crashing, making a big sound and stopping, it wobbled like a spacecraft would if it was covered with something and we hit it. Nice. In 1972, the moon was hit by a meteor with the power equivalent of 200 tons of TNT. Massive shock waves were sent into the interior, but none came back. Explain that. Albert Einstein couldn't be wrong. He said, for every reaction, there's an opposite reaction. What happened? I don't know. Maybe Einstein didn't say that, but yeah. Somebody famous said that. Okay. So NASA scientist Dr. Gordon McDonald said in the 1960s that it would seem the moon is more hollow than a homogeneous sphere. Dr. Sean C. Solomon of the MIT also says the same. How many scientists does it take to screw in a light bulb and figure out that the moon is not real? Like, how many? How many scientists have to say the same thing over and over and over? All right, so most plausible explanations for the moon, which answers all anomalies, came in an article in the Soviet Sputnik magazine in 1970 by two members of the Soviet Academy of Science, Mikhail Basin and Alexander
Sherbakov.
Their theme is revealed in the headlines, Is the Moon the Creation of Alien Influence? Another huge anomaly is the material found on the surface of the moon should be inside. Dr. Don L. Anderson, professor of geophysics and director of the seismological lab at the California Institute of Technology, said the moon is made inside out. The Soviet scientists suggested that the moon is a giant spacecraft and probably a planetoid that has been hollowed out with extremely advanced technology. They said the rock inside the moon was melted to create cavities in the interior, and the metallic rocky slag then deposited on the surface to form the lunar landscape that we see today. The scientists also point out that the high titanium content on the moon's surface, along with chromium and zirconium, fit the theme that the moon is a construct or part construct. These are refractory metals that are seriously resistant to heat and wear. They would have an enviable resistance to heat and the ability to stand up to means of aggression. So, somebody attacking them with lasers or something, precisely the metals you would use to deal with the effects of temperature, cosmic radiation, and meteorites. Again, much more info in the book Human, Get Off Your Knees by David Icke if you're really interested in reading a lot more into it. There was an article in Nexus magazine about something called the Changi Project. Now, before I go on with this part, I don't know how you're going to feel about it, but this is the part that really and truly upset me, made me angry, and is part of the reason why our lives, yes, your life and my life and everybody on the planet, it's a big part of why we are the way we are. Quick to temper, always tired, I don't know, but even the healthiest people run into being tired. Just, I don't know, sometimes I feel lethargic for no reason. I take care of myself, I work out. I shouldn't be tired all the time. I mean, fine, you know, there are different ailments, everyone is different, but the way that human beings interact with each other, we're so volatile all the time. We are not as peaceful as we want others to seem that we are. We're not. And I've always known that the human race, again, wasn't meant to be this way. We weren't meant to be bombing each other and hating each other and nitpicking at each other for hair color, skin color, eye color. I mean, we do all of this on a daily basis, and it's very obvious on Instagram. If you scroll through Instagram, you can see the effects of just everything. But let me continue. Okay, so the Changi Project, or CHANI, represents Channeled Holographic Access Network Interface, which was claimed by a whistleblower to be a secret project based in Africa, which made contact through the computer interface with an entity in another reality in 1994. But apparently, the contact continued for 5 years, during which a large volume of questions were posed and answered. The entity spoke of the true nature of the moon. This is what he was reported to have said. The moon is not a natural heavenly body. Life was better for humans before the moon came. Moon forces control time and manipulate the mood of humans. It regulates my menses, my monthly menses, my period. The moon regulates that in women. Okay, the moon is there to control the Earth's mood, and a big calm would come over the Earth. Without the moon, there would be only little storms, not big ones. The old race, they're called Archons. I know you're probably not familiar with it. For those of you who saw my Paranormal or Not series, I've said it many times. But anyway, Archons in many forms captured the moon from space and located it next to the Earth. So the moon was placed by us. Without the moon, people and animals would become calm and peaceful, and anxiety and fear would dramatically decline. Wouldn't that be lovely, being that half the planet suffers from anxiety? The oceans would be much calmer, major thunderstorms and lightning would be rare, and the climate would be balanced with no extreme heat or cold. Without the moon, telepathic and interdimensional communication would be widespread, and people would be able to see new colors in an enhanced color spectrum. There would be major changes to the human respiratory system as blood and breathing chemistry changes. Those born after the moon's demise would be able to hold their breath underwater for hours at a time. Okay, guys, I have no more information for you, but if that doesn't, just piss you off and make you see things a little differently, make you see that the powers that be are not telling you the truth. They're not giving us the information that they should be when we're in school, when we're in grammar school, when we're growing up. They're not giving us the information that we need in order to understand what our bodies are capable of, why our bodies are the way they are, and also why human beings interact with each other so violently most of the time, because it is most of the time that people are just not nice to each other. There is somewhat goodness on the planet. I don't want to say that I honestly do believe that we were meant to be good, mostly. There are exceptions to every rule. Not even if we were a more perfect society, there would still be things that we would be dealing with. But to know that the temperatures would be not too cold and not too hot, just perfect, to know that we wouldn't have to worry about major storms, that, you know, our moods would be calm, the animals would be calm, everyone would be more loving if the freaking moon wasn't there. Let's just put it this way, be happy that I am not some head honcho, you know, I am not one of the powers that be, because the moon wouldn't be there if it was up to me. But anyway, I'm going to leave you with those thoughts. Guys, this is the end of my video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make good moon-believing decisions. And I will see you